I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. First order of business, I'd like to do roll call. Trustee Berenger?
Berenger's present.
Trustee Ferrara?
Ferraro here.
Trustee Carl?
Carl present.
Trustee O'Connor?
O'Connor present.
Mayor Dwyer, good, thank you. Okay, I need a motion to accept the board minutes as submitted by the clerk for the January 21st meeting.
Carl will make the motion.
O'Connor will second.
Any discussion? Call the question?
Berenger, aye.
Ferraro, aye. Carl, aye.
O'Connor, aye.
Dwyer, aye, so carried, thank you. Next order of business, resignation, Police Department, D. Sherman, part-time dispatcher. Trustee Berenger.
Be it resolved, the Board of Trustees accepts the resignation of Derek Sherman, part-time dispatcher from the Police Department, effective January 24th, 2025. The board wishes Derek all the best in his future endeavors, and I'd like to put this in the form of a motion.
Second, please.
Carl will second.
Discussion? Call the question?
Berenger, aye.
Ferraro, aye. Carl, aye.
O'Connor, aye.
Dwyer, aye, so carried. All the best to Mr. Sherman. Next order of business is Code Enforcement, Building Department, Brian Barberina, part-time Assistant Building Inspector 3, resignation. Resolved, the Board of Trustees accepts the resignation of Brian Barberina, part-time Building Inspector 3 from Code Enforcement Building Department effective February 7, 2025. Brian will be our provisional full-time Assistant Building Inspector 3. We wish him well in his new position. I need a motion.
Berenger will make the motion.
Ferraro, second.
Okay, call the question.
Berenger, aye.
Ferraro, aye. Carl, aye.
O'Connor, aye.
Dwyer, aye, so carried.
When's his, the 11th?
Yes.
Effective? Okay, thank you.
Next order of business is Building Department, Brian Barberina, provisional full-time Assistant Building Inspector. Trustee O'Connor?
Be resolved, the Board of Trustees appoints Brian Barina to the position of provisional full-time Assistant Building Inspector 3, effective February 10th, 2025, with a salary of $45,000. The necessary MSD 426-B will be submitted to Orange County Department of Human Resources, and I'd like to put this in the form of a motion.
Second, please.
Berenger will second.
Call the question.
Berenger, aye.
Ferraro, aye. Carl, aye.
O'Connor, aye.
Dwyer, aye, so carried. Next order of business, appointment of Code Enforcement Department, Edleen Perez, part-time Assistant Building Inspector 3. Trustee O'Connor?
Be it resolved, the Board of Trustees appoints Edelyn Perez to the position of part-time Assistant Building Inspector 3 for the Code Enforcement Department, effective February 10th, 2025, with a salary of $25 an hour. Necessary MSD 426B will be submitted to Orange County Department of Human Resources. I'd like to put this in the form of a motion.
Second, please.
Berenger will second.
Call the question.
Berenger, aye.
Ferraro, aye. Carl, aye.
O'Connor, aye.
Dwyer, aye, so carried. Next order of business, completion of probation of DPW, William DeAngelis, automotive mechanic. Resolve the Board of Trustees, resolve the following employee hereby completes their probationary period. William DeAngelis, automotive mechanic, effective February 4, 2025. The necessary MSD 426B will be submitted to the Orange County Department of Human Resources. I need a motion to adopt this.
Berenger will make the motion.
Second.
O'Connor will second.
Call the question.
Berenger, aye.
Ferraro, aye. Carl, aye.
O'Connor, aye.
Dwyer, aye, so carried, thank you. Okay, next order of business is authorization for the purchase and installation of a new utility body for the DPW Water Department. Resolved, the Board of Trustees authorizes the Village of Monroe Water Department to use Robert Green Truck Division, Rock Hill, New York, off the Onondaga County Police and Administrative Vehicle Contract 001-0808 for the installation of a new truck utility body and repainting of the 2017 Chevrolet 2500 HD in the amount of $12,006 allocated from budget line F 8340.2300 distribution motor vehicle. I need a motion.
Berenger will make the motion.
Second.
Ferraro, second.
Discussion. Call the question.
Berenger, aye.
Ferraro, I.
Carl, no.
O'Connor, aye.
Dwyer, aye, so carried, thank you. Next order of business is the authorization for the installation and purchase and installation of the new utility body for DPW. Resolved, the Board of Trustees authorize the Village of Monroe Highway Department to use Robert Green Truck Division, Rock Hill, New York, off the Onondaga County Police and Administrative Vehicle Contract 0010808 for the installation of a new truck utility body on the F-250, 2015 F-250 in the amount of $8,206 allocated from budget line A 5110.2500, street maintenance, other equipment. I need a motion.
Ferraro make the motion.
Second.
O'Connor will second.
Call the question.
Berenger, aye.
Ferraro, I.
Carl, no.
O'Connor, aye.
Dwyer, thank you so much. Okay, next order of business, authorization to purchase some elevator parts. Trustee O'Connor?
Be it resolved, the Board of Trustees authorizes Mayor Dwyer to sign the proposal to furnish and install a new hack-free master station, a hacker-resistant ADA elevator phone, including the labor, materials, tools, and supervision to perform the work from Cone Inc. in the amount of $3,402 even, allocated from budget line A.1620.4530 VH equipment maintenance. I'll put that in the form of a motion.
Second, please.
Ferraro, second.
Call the question.
Berenger, aye.
Ferraro, I.
Carl, I.
O'Connor, aye.
Dwyer, aye, so carried, thank you. This next item we're going to table, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, we gotta review some of this stuff.
all right, there's some new regulations, state regulations that prohibits us from signing this on until such time as the new directives from the state of New York DEC. Yeah, something came out January 1, 2025, asking that certain water bodies in the state of New York that.
Freshwater wetlands program is what it comes in under.
So we have to read through that and get on board. All right?
Do I need to look at that for you?
Probably should. Can we get send one to Elise that? Okay, next order of business. Authorization to sign the 2025 Ace Tent Amusement Corporation agreement for the Village of Monroe Summer Carnival 2025 on July 24th, 2025 to July 27th, 2025. The Board of Trustees has been presented with a contract from Ace Tent Amusement, 59 Westmoreland Drive, Yonkers, New York, for the village's annual 2025 Carnival. The dates of the event are Thursday, July 24th, 2025 through Sunday, July 27th, 2025. The agreement states that there will be 14 to 16 rides furnished by Ace Tent Amusement, with ticket prices ranging as follows: $2 per ticket, 20 tickets for $25, 45 tickets for $50, and $30. Is that $30, right? That sound right? Maybe? No, 30?
30, it's going up.
No, yeah, it was 30, I just.
It was 30,
That was
yeah.
the
okay.
motion.
Per band per night for limited rides. Ace Tent Amusement will supply 100 posters promoting the event as well as 2 banners. Additionally, there'll be $100 per game donated to the Village of Monroe. And Ace Tent Amusement will supply the Village of Monroe with 40% of the gross receipts. Ace Tent Amusements will also include the following food trailers: cotton candy, ice cream, funnel cake and Zeppelis, hot dogs, hamburgers, sausages, and peppers. Ace Tent Amusements will also provide a $5 million insurance policy naming the Village of Monroe as additionally insured, as well as a copy of proof of workman's compensation. Ace Tent Amusements will also provide the porta sands and the dumpster, as well as contribute $4,900 toward the security of the event. This contract is a 2-year contract for the years of 2024 and to 2025. Resolved, the Board of Trustees approves the 2025 contract and agreement provided by Ace Amusements for the annual Village of Monroe Carnival to be held at Crane Park, July 24 through July 27th. This is to authorize Mayor Dwyer to sign this contract. I need a motion.
Ferraro make the motion.
Second,
O'Connor will second.
discussion? Call the question.
Berenger, aye.
Ferraro, I.
Carl, I.
O'Connor, aye.
Dwyer, aye, so carried. Next order of business is water payment plan request, town account 10164. Trustee Carl?
Yep, the Water Department received a letter from Town Water customer number 10164. The property owner is requesting a 12-month payment plan. This late in here. For his tenant, for the delinquent town water account totaling $1,214.63 due to her financial hardships. Resolve, the Board of Trustees, I'm going to say, denies the payment plan for town water account number 10164, giving them the opportunity to pay their outstanding balance of $1,214.63 over a period of 12 months with equal monthly payments of $101.22 due on the last day of each month, with the balance to be paid in full by January 31st, 2026. The regular quarter bill must be paid by its due date, otherwise the installment agreement will be in default and full payment, plus all ceased penalties will be due at the time, and water service will be terminated immediately. I will put that in form to deny it for discussion.
We don't want to do a payment plan?
Well, we need a second so we get some discussion.
Okay, sorry, I'll second for discussion.
Yeah, the problem we're having here is, and we've got to look at our policies, these are tenants that are renting off of landlords.
So who's the hardship on? Is it?
Well, it's the tenant, but the problem that we've been having are these tenants coming in and landlords telling them they're responsible for the water bills. Ultimately, if they don't pay the bill, it falls on the property owner anyway. We've had several issues here with this, and I think we need to come to some sort of a conclusion as to what we're going to continue to do. Are we going to continue to let the tenants, or is it the property owner that's ultimately responsible?
The property owner, I don't think you wanna get into a second and third party pointing fingers at each other or whatever. Make it do, finalize it.
And ultimately, the property owner will have to pay. So it doesn't seem important, however, whether he's the one you're giving the payment plan to or the tenant. It's really, the payment plan really goes to the benefit of the property owner, right? So, for example, let's say the tenant doesn't pay, the village is owed $1,000 in property, in water, which is a lot for this village, actually. And the tenant leaves. So the owner will have to pay, and the owner, if he wants to recover that, would have to go, let's say, for example, to small claims court. Good luck getting that money back. But I think if you've given anyone payment plans in the past, it doesn't really matter who that payment plan is going to. It's always the owner's responsibility. So the distinction between owner and tenant, I don't know that it matters, but it's certainly up to this board to make that distinction if you wish to.
Might the owner be more likely to pay than the tenant, who might just shrug it off for a couple
Well,
months?
ultimately, the owner's gonna have to pay.
Right.
So,
The owner, right, so she's asking to pay 101 a month
right,
or a year instead of 1,200 upfront.
I have a couple questions, Kim, regarding the history. Do we have any history? We know this tenant to be there.
She hasn't been paying the bill.
She
It's been
hasn't been.
delinquent. I think it was attached to the paperwork.
Yeah, it's on there. It's on the.
It is there.
It's on that, okay.
Yeah.
And what's its track record? No.
Yeah, mine's like 100. but I have
Yeah, so that's the first thing. The second thing is, ultimately, is the landlord or the owner's responsibility. And thirdly, and very importantly, he's got a good tenant, I imagine, right? And I would imagine he could extend these payments to her. Yes,
I agree.
Can I add $100 or so to the
I
the rent.
agree.
to the rent?
Yeah. So, okay, you good?
So are we denying or approving? That's my question.
Well,
The
was
way he
motion
worded
to
it
deny
is
it.
denying it. The way he worded it, it's denying. So if you agree, you're denying it. If you do not agree, you're giving it a break.
Okay, so I'm going to say nay.
All right, so we had a first and second, and you're saying nay?
Yeah.
Yes.
Carl, yes.
O'Connor, yes.
Wait a minute. Nay what? I was saying no.
I didn't want to, I thought that the person should have a payment plan.
All right, so you should have,
Because he wanted to deny. I'm like, it's still,
I apologize.
that's okay.
Kim?
Yes,
Yes.
got it.
Mayor,
Hello.
did you vote?
I did.
And it's denied, correct?
Correct.
Will that be our policy going forward, or?
Well, listen, I
'cause
do
I think
think
we need to look at the, you know. water
case by
rules.
case,
Well, no, we
No.
just need to look at our water rules and regulations, determine what it says,
right?
and I believe it says customer.
But one of the challenges we have, unfortunately, I think, is a pretty good sized population that we service water to,
That are rentals.
that are tenants. And whether they've made arrangements in their lease or not, we're not privy to that lease. And ultimately, what happens then is, and we've had them come in. We had one family come in and they didn't know it. They had one of these inflatable pools. And every time the water got dirty, they just emptied the pool out and filled it back up. And they had like some crazy bill. And here they are, they couldn't pay it, you know? And I mean, if I'm a landlord, first of all, I don't want a tenant having a pool on my property. That's the conversation.
And doesn't our software flag anything over a certain dollar amount?
It does, and they check into it, and they go out and they assess it, and sometimes there's no read, sometimes there's a low read, sometimes there's high read. I think it's a 10% anomaly, Will, that I go for, right? Sure,
But isn't there like a total dollar amount flag? In other words, most people only have between $50 and $100 a quarter bill. So if it hits 300 or 400, shouldn't that be a flag?
well, it is to the water, so the usage, so if they average 9,000 gallons and they have 50, that's an anomaly, right? So it's 10% higher, in most cases, it might be, you know, at 453, or their side it'd be more, but typically on our side, if they're, you know, a 10% anomaly, it could be $20, it could be $100, you know? But it's tied together, is what I'm saying, so it's either the water or it's the dollar. Either way, it's an anomaly, and that's how we register it. Exactly. Right. Exactly. Okay. All right, so that's done.
We're up to 5B.
Okay, next order of business is the authorization for Kone to replace and upgrade the existing door operator with new circuitry and the control board. Trustee O'Connor?
Be it resolved, the Board of Trustees authorize Mayor Dwyer to sign the proposal to replace and upgrade existing door operator with new for the elevator, including the labor, material, tools, and supervision to perform the work from Cone Inc. in the amount of $9,711.58, allocated from the budget line A.1620.4530 VH equipment maintenance. I'd like to put that in the form of a motion.
Second, please.
Berenger will second.
Call the question?
Berenger, aye.
Ferraro, I.
Carl, I.
O'Connor, aye.
All right, so carried, thank you. Next order of business, the authorization to purchase Water Department 2024 Ford F-350 Super Cab Chassis Cab XL from Healy Brothers Ford.
Neil.
Trustee Carl?
Yep, resolved, the Board of Trustees.
Wait a minute.
It's a Chevy, remember?
I thought the dollar amount was the issue. It's the vehicle too?
Well,
Okay,
sorry.
I stand corrected.
What are we going with?
So it's just a Chevrolet 3500.
It's that paper I just gave you.
It's not the Ford
And it's not the
Chevrolet, right?
price, right?
Yeah.
It's a different one.
Maybe on page 2 on the top. Silverado.
All right. Resolve the Board of Trustees authorize the Village of Monroe Water Department to purchase a 2024, actually it's a 2025 Silverado 2500 Super Cab with a service body installed from Healy Brothers Ford. Is that correct?
Yep.
Healy Brothers Ford off state bid, New York State OGS contract number PC 69421 in the amount of
65.
$65,888 to be allocated from budget line F 8340.4500 distribution contractual, and I'll put that in the form of a motion.
Second.
Berenger will second.
Call the question?
Berenger, aye.
Ferraro, I.
Carl, aye.
O'Connor, aye.
Dwyer, aye, so carried, thank you. Okay, so just to clarify, to be sure, it is Healy Brothers Chevrolet, okay? And it is a 2025 3500. And everything else that's spec'd here is good. Thanks, Will. Okay. All right, I have nothing. The board have anything? I don't have anything.
I just wanted to say, great job to the DPW. I was, saying that yesterday morning when I was leaving for work at like 7 o'clock, the path around the ponds was already cleared, and I was pretty impressed with that. And also I know that the bad weather's been coming around a little, and they're always out there helping us, and we're just really lucky to have our DPW, our water department, and I just wanted to thank everybody for their hard work.
John?
Yeah, any more on the streetlight upgrades?
So we got a letter from Orange and Rockland advising us that we're moving forward, and it's still another 6 to 9 months. I found that to be unacceptable, and I've reached out to Senator Skoufis's office, and we're gonna have a conversation with the utility company, because we're going backwards.
Yeah.
And so it's been really frustrating, the process. I don't know where the problem necessarily lies, other than, you know, I speak to Teresa, our liaison, on a regular basis, and, you know, her hands are tied. She tries to get us all the information she gets, and the most current piece is that they've signed off on it, and now it's going through some other diligence, and we're waiting to hear back on that, and then there's a 5 to 9 month process. I don't understand any of
Well,
that.
we gotta be coming up close to 4 years now, aren't we, with this?
Close, yeah. 21?
Another thing I noticed reading today is the $100 million downtown revitalization initiative through New York Forward. Are you familiar with that?
Yes.
They're looking to do 10 communities to receive $10 million.
Yep.
And some of the thoughts that we had been kicking around with the parking in the rear of which is now Somni's Restaurant, and getting that whole area back there cleaned up and squared up, going towards the commuter parking lot.
Sure.
Is this something that
Yes.
you may be interested in doing, or?
Well, we did do it once. We didn't get it. We didn't score high enough, but we're gonna do it again. I reached out to the town of Montgomery. We did get it, and they have a couple of people there that are willing to allow us to meet with them and get on it. Did meet one gentleman here about a month ago, and he's totally into it. So we have.
Figure out how they did it.
Well, it's a very lengthy process. The last time I did it, it's a lot of work, and
There's only 10 communities
Yeah.
that are eligible for it.
In the whole state?
no, in our zone. I
Our
think
zone,
there's
okay.
5 zones, I think.
I thought it was statewide.
Well, the 100 million may be statewide,
Oh, that's, yeah.
yeah, but I don't know about the, I could find that out, clarify that, but the gentleman from Montgomery, they got $10 million. And, but you have to score it, and yeah, your narrative has to be compelling, your needs are compelling. There's a lot of pieces. Middletown had gotten it, I believe Kingston had gotten it, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think Kingston, definitely Middletown. They did a great job up in Middletown.
No, I think that would be, you know,
Be huge.
it'd be a big boost for us,
Yep.
and, you know, between the parking and the facades on some of those buildings.
They would all sign on to it, believe me.
And then the last thing I got, and maybe we can speak with the town as well. I know when we get some snowstorms, we try to put a public service announcement out for people not to put the garbage pails in the street. Some do, a lot don't. I mean, they'll put them off on the, you know, on the property side of things. But now when the garbage truck comes, they empty them and leave them in the street, and the plows are still coming around to plow the roads. So we kind of need to get some kind of communication with everybody involved, so that the, you know, when they empty the pails, that they're, off the road, even in the summer months, because the street sweeper comes through and the pails are in the road, and they're just zigzagging around.
Yeah.
But I think it's just, if we can try to get the garbage company to assist us, and then hopefully the folks, will keep the containers off the roadways, especially during the snowstorms. And that's all I have.
I'm good.
Okay, anyone from the public?
Hi, how are ya?
Good,
I'm here to talk again about the parking in front of the library.
sure.
I had come last before the board right before the holidays, with additional complaints from the community. I come back again with additional complaints from the community. From the last time we met until today, we received another 31 complaints from patrons who come into the library complaining about the parking. Even when you guys had the meter shut off for the holidays, we still had people come in complaining, not understanding why those spots can't be, free again, or as we recommended, 30-minute parking. So I'm just following up to see if we can find a solution to make the library easier access and freely available to come on in.
Sure. So just a couple of updates. Number one, it's not 3 spots, it'll be
It's
2.
2 now, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And then the other thing I noticed, and I wanted to share with you, and I'm sure you've seen it. So when we had a couple of snow events and people parked on Smithfield, they would get out of their car and they'd walk right across the sidewalk on your lawn and come into the library. And I thought that was curious. And I'm telling you, a lot of footprints, not just 2, like everybody.
Right.
So I think that's wonderful that they have the sidewalk to get onto, As far as the 2 spots in the street there, the reticence to hear for the board, and I'll let the board speak about individually, is that we are so challenged with parking, and I'll give you an example. So after we last spoke, I started to monitor it. And what I found in those 2 spots, there was a guy that came into, I don't know who he is. He came into the library, and he spent the day there, and he parked in that spot.
The white truck with the cap on it?
Yeah, and
He usually parks in our driveway. I know who you're talking about. He usually parks in our driveway.
okay, and then,
It's very rare that he parks in
and
those
what's the other
spots.
one, Honda?
I think it was a Honda gentleman got out, he had a backpack on, black rimmed glasses.
I know who you're talking
Yeah,
about.
he sat there from, it's just at 12:59, then I went to a meeting, I came back after 3 o'clock, and the car was still there.
Right.
So he's an employee?
No, he's not. No, he actually uses our library for,
So one of the concerns I have, Amanda, and again, I'll let the board speak their piece, is that we are so challenged, and we have a restaurant that is not open currently, but that will be opening. And I don't know, we have the free parking on Smithfield. We have everything from those 2 spots back toward the movie theater, all the way out to the Mill Pond and Stage Road free. We have parking in the in this private lot here, free. I'm really hard pressed to say, even with the 30 minutes, it seems that people just don't even respect that.
well, I think if there was signage that said 30 minutes, I think people would abide by that. And if not, you're ticketing people anyways already. So I don't see, they'll get tickets once, twice, and then they'll learn their lesson, just as any other person
Yeah.
who doesn't put a meter in the quarter in the meter,
The opposite of that is this, and I hear you. The opposite of that is, what if I do get a patron going to the restaurant
right?
or the movies? It seems like the movies they're showing lately, it's a full house.
Most people are parking on Smithfield Court.
Yes, but I'm saying if there was a spot,
Right,
I'm seeing it, and then we saw the white truck, and then we saw the Honda,
right.
and I'm just wondering if people are just having at it and not respecting it, even with a sign.
Right.
How do I can't chalk tires, it's against the law. How do I know they did 30 minutes? I don't know how to monitor that.
You can't talk the tires.
I didn't know that, but I just found out recently you're not allowed to against the law. Yeah,
Is there anything we could do on a trial? Like, okay, let's try this out, 2 spots, library parking, 30 minutes, and really enforce it?
The manpower, we don't have the manpower, so they have to come by every 30, 40 minutes and take a license plate number, come back in 30, 40 minutes, see if that license plate is still there. That's a,
I think that the people in the library are gonna realize, if they know, or maybe there's a sign in the library that says, those 30-minute parking spots are for 30 minutes.
I mean, we already have a sign up on our door that says, did you feed the meter? I mean, we don't want people to get tickets. We
Right.
are telling people that those are metered spots, so we would do that, you know? It's not something like we wouldn't explain to people that those are 30-minute spots, they're not meant for all-day parking. There's other opportunities for you to do all-day parking if you're gonna park yourself in the library for a couple of hours. You know, I just feel like it's such a disservice to our community who can't walk very far. You know, I get the whole traipsing across the lawn, but that's not everybody. Everybody is not able to traipse from Smithfield Court across our lawn. I'm thinking of our elderly. I'm thinking of people who just need to get something quick. I just think it's a
Well,
real disservice.
Sure, listen, I understand, I respect that. The thing I'm hard pressed with is when you talk about the elderly.
Right,
So Mill Pond Parkway is the service route for the coach bus line, right?
right.
And they're coming down the road, and there's regular commercial traffic as well. Anybody parking there has to get out of an active door into an active lane. You know what I mean? And not everybody pays attention, right?
Right.
Whereas if people park on Smithfield, onto the curb, onto the sidewalk, whether it's mom and 3 kids, me as a parent would be a lot more comfortable parking at Smithfield, even if it's the bottom 2 spots, 3 spots, and getting onto the sidewalk and walking around just the corner to the same spot that the other people that are typically orientated to that mill pond, and then go into the library. It's a lot safer. You're not in active lane. And that's been my argument or my concern from the get-go, as I think you know.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know how, you know, I mean, I don't know how parents pull their car out, put it in that spot, open the door. I mean, Timmy and Mary, they have to open them from the passenger side, I guess. But if the car seat is behind mom, she's gonna open now the car door in the rear to let Mary out of a car seat. And I don't wanna,
What you're saying, I park across the street before I have 2 kids, so I have to go get my kids out of oncoming traffic too. You know, I get what you're saying,
yeah.
but, I mean, it is what it is.
Well, that's what I hope the Smithfield would provide, that safety, is what
Right.
I'm saying. And maybe there could be 2 spots on Smithfield for that 30 minutes. I don't know, but I am concerned, A, for the business. You know, we're struggling, right? We're trying to get things really cooking here, and we're trying to build a brand, and we're trying to make sure people have opportunity. And this restaurant that's supposed to be coming in soon has no parking. They have across the street in the metered spots. They have on your side in the metered spots. At least they have something on their side of the street. And I think that's something we have to consider. Smithfield is 47 spots. I'm just putting it out there. I'm not saying it's a disservice. I don't know, the trustee Berenger's point about the 30 minutes there, I don't know how we patrol it. You know, and I do fear that people would take advantage of it. We see it all over the place.
I think you have to patrol it right away when the signs go out, and then I think people are gonna realize, because everyone's gonna put it on the social media like they do about everything. And my opinion is, I mean, I know, I have kids. I used to go to the library and do all that, and it is a pain to have to be far away, and when it's cold. And I know the elderly people go there. That's their social life. That's where they're going to talk to somebody. It's warm if they don't have a computer at home. So,
But Deb, here's the problem with that. So I get it. So that's their social environment. Great, I'm glad we have an outlet, right? That's perfect. But we've told them that, or at least that's been portrayed to us, that it's a drop-off for library books and a pickup. If this is a social event, they're there for an hour, maybe 2, and they're there, what do we do? I mean, that's breaking their
I'm gonna
rules.
change my mind. I'm just saying.
All right, well, you don't I don't want you to.
Yeah.
I want you to say what you have to say. I'm not suggesting. What I'm just saying is that there's so many different variables in those 2 spots that pertain to who uses them, i.e. I had 2 people, and you know, just to give you FYI, there's a gentleman that comes in here quite often and to the meetings, and he actually told us he was coming in to tell us how terrible that was that we had metered parking. When we told him about Smithfield, what did he say? Phil Brizzuto, I'm talking about.
Yeah.
What did he say?
Holy cow,
He couldn't believe it. He says, all these spots are free? I said, yes, and you'll have sidewalks. Now, at the time, we were just forming him, I guess, or whatever, and he's a regular patron of yours. So I thought that narrative worked, to be frank with you. I really did. Yeah, but it doesn't.
It doesn't, they're still
Yeah.
complaining daily, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, and we're not searching for complaints. They come to us at the desk and make a comment. Anytime they make a comment to us or a flat out complaint, we just put a tick mark on. So, like I said, we're continuing to get complaints about it. This is a sticking point to our community, apparently, that just, it's just tough that this is what it is now, and that,
Right.
that they've lost easier access to their library.
One day, I was out there walking around, and to what the mayor alluded to before, I watched a young mother open her sliding van door on the driver's side to get two children out onto Mill Pond Parkway. There was no vehicles coming, but, you know, that is pretty active with, you know, especially the short line buses. But it was kind of a concern that, you know, that they're discharging out into the street. So, you know, I would rather they use the side road or in behind, I know there's the one handicapped parking spot in there.
Yeah,
Now, is that another spot that's behind? It doesn't look like it's really marked out.
really supposed to be a spot, but people use it as a spot.
Yeah, because that might be something, at least it gets you one, especially, you know, the young mothers with children,
Yeah,
that they're discharging them not in the street.
right.
And that really, you know, when you brought that up, the one day I was walking around over there and I actually saw it, and that was kind of, you know, concerning.
Okay.
But, you know,
Okay, thanks. The only other thing that I have to share is that we're experiencing some challenges with the way the driveway has been redone by the village. When people are exiting the driveway, it's become a challenge because people are parking closer and closer to the exit. They're not realizing that they're essentially like just not giving us enough room to exit out. And I was wondering if the village could maybe draw a box or something to
Yeah.
indicate that it's a driveway.
Sure.
I think what's throwing people off is that the sidewalk is there. So we've had it a few times where people have actually parked in our exit of our driveway.
is that something we could get some traffic cones for now?
Yeah.
Because with the cold weather, the paint won't stick to it, but if we could put some
We can
cones
put
or
cones
something
out,
there
we
for
can
now.
cone it
at
out,
least
and we
to
can
deline-
flare it out.
Right.
Yeah,
because
delineate
it's
it now.
challenged,
Yeah.
So,
We'll
especially
take-
for our patrons trying to
Absolutely.
get out, so,
That's all gonna get paved and
Right.
striped. But
Yeah.
to trustee Carl's point, it can't happen now, but we can
Right.
certainly cone it out
right.
with a flare.
Yeah, okay, great.
And maybe we cone it out in one direction, they know to continue up the hill,
Yeah.
not make the right.
Yeah.
That
Maybe.
happens too.
I know. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Anyone else in the public?
Up to the microphone, please.
Alex, I'm a Curry Village resident. Looking for some clarification, it was old business at the last meeting, and tonight was brought up about the installation of new utility bodies. And we vote for this again, Monroe, tonight on that. Based on experience with trustee Carl, he has experience and knowledge with the water department and highway department, and has purchased and repaired several commercial vehicles for municipalities. I feel that his advice should be taken in this matter. There's other hidden costs involved. Okay?
Thank you. Okay, anyone else from the public wish to speak? If not, I need a motion to go into executive for attorney-client personnel.
Ferraro, make the motion.
Berenger will second.
Call the question?
Berenger, aye.
Ferraro, I.
Carl, aye.
Dwyer, aye, so carried. Thank you all.
Thank you.